Ever thought about stepping into a city that feels like it's straight out of a, I don't know, a storybook?
Ah, that magical feeling.
Exactly. That's what we're diving into today. Jaipur, India's famous pink city, right in Rajasthan.
A truly iconic place. And for you listening, if you want to really get Jaipur, understand its importance quickly, think of this as your shortcut. We're wading through the details so you don't have to.
Yeah, think of it as your express pass.
Yeah,
Our mission here is to unpack why Jaipur is such a big deal in India's history and culture based on what our sources tell us.
let's do it.
Okay, so first things first. That famous pink color. What's the real story? Is it just pink?
Well, it's interesting. The source says painting the old city, that specific terracotta pink color back in 1876, it wasn't just about looking nice.
Oh.
It was actually a very deliberate welcome gesture for the Prince of Wales, who later became King Edward VII.
A royal welcome.
Exactly. Pink, in that region, traditionally signifies hospitality. And it stuck. It wasn't just temporary paint. It fundamentally shaped how everyone saw the city. It's kind of its brand now, isn't it? Still draws people in.
Wow, so a diplomatic move turned into a city's identity.
Mm-hmm.
That's fascinating. But it wasn't just the color, right? The source mentioned something about the city's layout being unusual.
Absolutely. Jaipur really stands out there. It was a planned city, you see. Founded way back in 1727 by Maharaja Sawai Jai Singh II.
Planned in 1727.
Yes. He decided to move the capital from nearby Amber, specifically to create a more, let's say, organized and secure city, which was quite forward-thinking for the time, especially in India. Most older cities just sort of grew organically.
Right, they scrawl. But Jaipur was designed from the ground up. Based on what principles, though? It sounds almost modern.
That's the fascinating part. It was based on ancient Indian principles.
Okay.
Specifically Vastu Shastra. That's the traditional system for architecture and layout. Sort of like feng shui, but Indian.
Vastu Shastra. Yeah.
And also Shilpa Shastra, which deals more with the arts and crafts side of things. So the grid pattern of the streets aligning with the cardinal directions that comes from Vastu Shastra, it was believed to promote harmony.
So it's one of India's earliest examples of this kind of comprehensive urban planning.
Definitely one of the most significant, really quite remarkable.
Okay, so from the city plan to the buildings themselves, the source talks about some incredible architecture. Let's start with the Hawa Mahal, the Palace of Winds. Cool name.
It really is. And the building itself is so unique. That 5-story facade, it's almost like a honeycomb with, get this, 953 small windows called harokas.
In 953. Wow. What were they all for?
Well, it wasn't really a palace for living in the usual sense. It was designed specifically so the royal women could watch street festivals and daily life down below without being seen themselves. Privacy was key.
Ah, I see. So they had a view of the action, but discreetly. Clever. Can you all imagine the processions they must have watched from there?
Must have been quite something. A hidden vantage point onto the city's buzz. And then there's the city palace. Sounds grand. A mix of styles.
Yes. The city palace is a great example of blending Rajasthani and Mughal architecture. You see the influences clearly.
And the source mentioned something really interesting. Part of it is still lived in by the royal family today.
That's right. Which adds this incredible layer of living history, doesn't it? It's not just a museum piece. People are still connected to it in that direct way.
Absolutely. Makes it feel very alive. Then you've got Amber Fort up on a hill. The views must be spectacular.
Oh, undoubtedly. Amber Fort is visually stunning, loads of artistic Hindu-style details. And yes, being on that hilltop gives it these amazing panoramic views. Plus, it highlights its original purpose as a major defensive fort.
Which brings us to the other force mentioned, Nahargarh and Jaigarh. They were part of that defense system too.
Exactly. Think of them as the outer defenses. High up in the Aravalli Hills, overlooking the city. They provided crucial vantage points, strategic depth. You can see how they'd protect Jaipur. So beautiful city, yes, but also very strategically designed and protected. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. The source also talks a lot about Jaipur being a hub for culture, crafts, jewelry.
Oh, absolutely. Jaipur is world famous for its artisans. The level of skill is just incredible. Things like lacked bangles, you know, the colorful ones. Gemstone cutting and polishing. Jaipur is a major center for that. And blue pottery, that distinctive blue and white style, plus block printing on textiles. These are traditions passed down for generations. It's not just stuff for tourists, it's a living heritage.
You really get a sense of that deep-rooted creativity. And the food. The source mentions some classic Rajasthani dishes. Dal bati churma.
Ah, yes. Delicious. Gatte ki sapsi laomas. Very rich, flavorful cuisine. It's definitely a big part of the cultural experience there.
Makes you hungry just hearing about it. And the festivals sound amazing too. Tej, Gangor, and the Jaipur Literature Festival, which is huge, right?
Yeah, it's massive, globally recognized now. These festivals really showcase the city's vibrant culture and, pull in people from everywhere, India and internationally. JLF especially puts Jaipur on the map as this intellectual and cultural meeting point.
So it's got this deep history and culture, but the source also points to its modern side, like being a top spot for destination weddings and luxury travel.
Yes, Jaipur has really capitalized on its heritage. Those stunning palaces and old havelis, many are now luxury hotels, so it's become this go-to place for grand weddings and high-end tourism. Good for the economy, and it helps preserve the buildings, too.
Makes sense. And the bazaars. Gahari Bazaar, Bapu Bazaar.
Mm-hmm.
They sound like sensory overload in the best way possible.
They really are. Just bustling with activity. You can find gorgeous textiles, jewelry, handicrafts, souvenirs, everything. It's where you really feel the pulse of the city, I think. Great for shopping, obviously, but also just for soaking up the atmosphere.
It sounds like it. And it's amazing how the source mentions this blend. You've got these ancient structures and bustling traditional markets right alongside, like metro lines and tech parks.
That balance is key to Jaipur's success, I think. It hasn't become stuck in the past. It's embracing modernity, building infrastructure, developing new industries, but without losing that connection to its history. It's quite a balancing act.
It really is. Let's go back to the founder for a moment, Maharaja Sawai Saim II. The source makes a point that he wasn't just a ruler. He was a scholar, an astronomer.
Yes, a really fascinating figure. Not just a king, but deeply interested in learning, particularly science and maths. And astronomy was a major passion.
Which led to the Jantar Mantar Observatory, right? The UNESCO site.
Precisely. His most famous scientific contribution, it's an incredible place, basically a collection of huge astronomical instruments built out of stone.
What kind of instruments?
Well, the most famous is the Stamrat Yantra. It's the world's largest stone sundial. Huge and incredibly accurate for its time. There are other instruments, too, designed for tracking stars, measuring time, predicting eclipses. It's a real testament to the scientific knowledge of that era. Mind-blowing, really.
Wow, a king building a giant observatory in the 18th century. That adds a whole other dimension. Okay, zooming out slightly. What about Jaipur's place in, broader Indian history? The source mentions the British colonial period.
Right. During British rule, Jaipur was what they called a princely state within the Rajputana agency. So it had a degree of self-rule, managed its internal affairs, but ultimately under British oversight. This semi-autonomy probably helped preserve some of its unique character.
And then after India's independence in 1947,
it smoothly became part of the new state of Rajasthan and actually became its capital city. And it's continued to grow as a major economic and cultural hub ever since.
Which brings us right up to today. Being part of that famous Golden Triangle tourist route with Delhi and Agra, that says a lot.
It certainly does. It highlights just how important Jaipur is for tourism in India. It's a must-see destination for many international visitors.
And getting that UNESCO World Heritage City status,
Right.
That's huge recognition, isn't it?
Absolutely. It confirms its global significance, recognizing the outstanding value of its unique urban planning and architecture.
So wrapping it all up, Jaipur isn't just a pretty pink city. It's this incredible mix of, everything you've talked about. Visionary planning, stunning architecture, deep-rooted culture, scientific achievement, and this knack for blending old and new.
Exactly. It really is a living testament to its history, its founder's vision, and the skills and spirit of its people over centuries.
So maybe a final thought for you, our listener. Think about that. A city planned almost 300 years ago, based on ancient wisdom, but still absolutely thriving and adapting today. What does that tell us about the power of a good plan, a strong vision, and the importance of holding on to heritage?
Something to ponder.
Definitely. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Jaipur.